ball gets in, another wide open three.
Pierre Cardin.
Defers to Booker for the long range.
P-H-O-E-N-I-X. Phoenix Suns, and you know we up next. Yeah, we working for that championship ring. We the Valley, it ain't nothing but a thing. P-H-O-E-N-I-X. Phoenix Suns, and you know we up next. Yeah, we working for that championship ring. We the Valley, it ain't nothing but a thing.
The Aussie Suns podcast. Honestly, with me on here, your ratings are going to skyrocket, so much bigger than the Chinese Suns podcast, than Canada's Suns podcast, than, those other countries. They all are great, but your ratings are going through the roof. It's really great to see.
Welcome, everybody, to the Aussie Suns Fans podcast. I am your host, Gavin, and we're back with the original crew for today's show. We've got Hammo. How you going, mate? Welcome back.
Man, thank you very much for having me back. Yeah, no, it's been a good week to be a Suns fan. We've got some good shit to talk about for a change.
It has been a cracking week. Nate, welcome back, mate. And how are you travelling?
Mate, great. It's great to wake up, watch a game, a bit clunky as it was, but to come out with the win the way we did. And when the game was over, looking back to what you said last week when you had the 4 wins and everyone was like, well, let's talk about what the most difficult game was going to be. And I think you all agreed that Utah was going to be the most difficult game of the week, and 1-point win down to the final play.
Yeah, it was, and we will get stuck into that shortly. Unfortunately, Boyd has some visitors over. He got away with it for the Suns Jam session. So therefore, he dumped us off and basically went and sourced himself out to another podcast. And when it comes to our podcast, just fucking left us high and dry. We can roll straight in. We want to look at the last week's games. We did speak about 4 wins, and this is what we had. So against New York, a win 116-95 feels like a bloody long time ago. Lakers 115-105, Detroit 108-102, and of course today against Utah 113-112, which gives us now a 13-6 record, 11-1 at home, and a 4-game win streak. How'd you see the week, Hammo?
Man, I've got a good mate of mine who's an absolute diehard Knicks fan. Has been. He's a little bit older than me, not much, but it's really good to beat the Knicks all the time, whenever it happens. But yeah, no, like every game had its own nuances. Obviously, the Lakers game we're going to talk about in some more depth than probably any of the others. But yeah, like it was a good week. It was a good week, man. Solid effort all around.
Nate?
I've got a few notes down here. And I want to open with saying Reggie Miller is still a fuckhead. But kudos for finally giving D-Book a tap on the shoulder as a top 10 player in the league. I think it's the first time Reggie's actually said something worth listening to during the Lakers game. I watched most of it in replay except for yesterday and today. I managed to watch those games live, which was good. And like I said, the 4 wins. Beautiful. He did actually have another note here. Reggie did say something about Ayton having an opportunity to show out with 2 starters down. So with the power forward and the point guard down, it was just Book and Ayton show. He really had an opportunity to show more aggression. And I think last 3 games, he absolutely has. And I know you've talked extensively about DeAndre Ayton in your last hour's worth of pod with Jam Session there, Gav. So.
Absolutely, but I mean, we've spoken extensively about DA for the last couple of weeks. Let's be honest, and geez, it was just really, really good to see what he dished up in, particularly in the last 2 games that we've seen. But hey, 4-0 this week, 4-game winning streak, fantastic to watch. Really enjoyed it. This week, this is what this week was.
Suns had a great week this week, fantastic week, really tremendous. If you think about how they were able to score more than the other teams, really contributed to some wins. Suns.
It was a fantastic effort to outscore the other teams for the entire week. But let's talk a little bit more about DA. I mean, let's be honest, the last two games, what do you have today? 29-21. He was
Incredible.
an absolute fucking animal today. And when you watch games of basketball, you see the game-winning shots. That game-winning rebound was fucking furious.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, man, that was he has just, whether a lot of people online saying he just took a shove in the back to get back into form or not, but he has really been showing what we expect of him, but also how much potential he does have, because he's only young, man. He's only going to get better, But that he was ferocious. He was just going all out. It was really, really good to see, man. He's got so much potential, and we just need to see more of what we've seen in the last couple of games.
Nate?
Can't really add much to more. Just the level of aggression and response. And like Hammo said, whether it was a push in the back or whatever it was that finally flicked the switch, he's pulled 3 consecutive aggressive games off now. And I don't think we've seen 3 in a row like that from him since he started with us, to be honest.
I think it's clear by now that when we go back through the Aussie Suns fans Twitter page, the Phoenix Suns coaching staff is clearly reading what we're posting now. I said that DA wasn't getting past the ball enough. Bang, all of a sudden, 2 games in a row, they pass him the ball. Today, I cracked the shits about Jock not playing. Bang, Jock was out on the floor. It's just what's happening now. I think that I think it's clear that the Aussie Suns fans.
Yeah.
No, I think the Aussie Suns fans, nobody's watching the Guesswork Gap feed. Let's be honest, it's giving nothing of interest. But sensational week for us. If you are online right now, we've got quite a number of guys that are online right now. Click like, click subscribe, give us some support. We'd really appreciate it. Great to see everybody who's jumped over from the jam session. Hopefully that we can live up to exactly what you want us to live up to. Let's move on.
I will make a comment there. Thomas has just said the man cave looks great. If you hear us mention a big green strap on, there's a bit of a story to that. I finally got myself a little green screen and was able to use my backgrounds again. So the camera hasn't really been doing a good job on the last few pods I've been on. So I haven't used the background. But for those that don't remember, this is Marley's. And if I were to move my shoulder the other way, Gab's actually sitting at the other end of the bar there.
Can we fucking go back to Marley's? I'm stuck at home right now with fucking 4 children, and I'd really like to get on a plane, go back to Arizona, and go back to Marley's now.
Take a bigger suitcase next time.
Looks like a hell of a good place, man. Eh?
Oh, it's fun. We have a blast.
Next week's games. 3-game week. We got Sacramento 2 p.m. Tuesday on League Pass. Chicago 1 p.m. Thursday on League Pass. By the way, Adelaide catch up Thursday on League Pass. We are catching up at the Rosie at 1 p.m. There's already about 6 or 7 of us going. I'm over there for work and have the opportunity to catch up with the guys, similar to what we did in Brisbane. So it'd be great if a few of you could catch up. We will put some photos on the Twitter feed. I might even, now that we're more advanced with what we do on this pod, I might throw some photos up next week on the pod on Sunday. Actually, it won't be Sunday, but for me. But anyway, and Houston 1 p.m. Saturday on League Pass. How are we going to go this week, Hammo?
Look, Sacramento at the moment, man, I don't know what they're smoking or what's in the water over there, but they're they're normally a laughing stock, eh? But I don't know, Sacktown could be fun because it's at Sacramento as well. the rest of them, man, Chicago, Houston, not really too worried about, especially Houston. But yeah, Sacktown could be very, very interesting, man. I honestly don't know which way that's going to go. Obviously, my heart wants the Suns to win, and I believe we will. But I think it's going to be quite tough. You know what I mean? And Chicago. I mean, what? Levine's still out. Levine's still out injured or whatever.
Who knows?
Doesn't
I think
matter.
I think he's out with toy out of cot syndrome.
Isn't it funny that every time we talk about Houston being a cakewalk, they end up being a problem?
Well, what's going to be worse, Houston or Sacramento?
Well, I was going to answer Gav's question. It was much like I mentioned at the start of it when the last pod, when JN Fallen Founder was saying, all right, well, let's forget about we're all going 4 wins. I think we're all probably going to go 3 wins on this week, string 7 in a row. So we're probably better off talking about, what's going to be the toughest game. And it has to be either Sac or Houston. I mean, I'd be leaning towards Sac purely because they're playing better.
Because of their record, yeah.
Houston just seem to give us trouble. And I don't know if it's us dropping the ball. I think we spoke about this on countless pods now, Gav. But they tend to rub us the wrong way.
Yeah, it's always a worry against those young teams. It seems with us. I can see us really struggling there. Look, Sacramento, they're playing very, very well.
That wasn't even a soundbite. That was just Hammo.
Sacramento are playing very, very well. But
what is cracking me up?
Let's be honest. Sacramento have always been a dumpster fire of a franchise, and surely that's inevitable to happen again. And Darth Waters said something similar. He's all back aboard the DA train. Superhero DA will skull fuck that massive noggin Sabonis has. I tend to agree, maybe not in those words, but I tend to agree. I think that DA tends to get himself up against guys that have a direct correlation to him. So we saw him absolutely destroy Bagley the other day. Maybe not so much with Utah and his performance today, but all of the trade rumors swirling around about Sabonis last year and et cetera, et cetera. I think DA is going to look to really try to put Sabonis to the sword. De'Aaron Fox is a really, really talented player, probably the quickest player in the league. But we do have a very, very quick point guard that's going to defend him in Cameron Payne. So that should be interesting.
You think that De'Aaron Fox is quicker than Ja Morant?
Yes. I absolutely think that De'Aaron Fox is quicker than Ja Morant.
All right.
Ja Morant's more explosive, so off the floor, but I think De'Aaron Fox is probably quicker. The Houston game,
Houston speed on him lately as well.
He does. I mean, that's why his nickname's Turbo.
It is Turbo. I was going to ask about the nickname because I was watching that game against the Lakers, and he literally looked like the milkman because he would just know exactly when to fall over and get the call. It didn't look pretty, but it was just every time he'd just milk the defensive foul, or offensive foul rather. Sorry, and then the Turbo name. So that's his nickname.
Yeah. To be honest, let's go. Let's hope that maybe it's a little bit of a preview to a Harrison Barnes trade, something like that. I know people have been excited about Harrison Barnes, so it'll be an interesting game against Sacramento. But I'm actually more concerned about the Houston game. I'm kind of with you there, Nate. I'm really a little bit concerned about what Houston matchup will do. They're quick, they're young. They'll try to spread the floor with Jabari Smith Jr. and everything else they've got there, Sengun and Porter Jr. And
you think we're underestimating him?
No. Look, then I don't think they're a great side yet, but the side they have and the pace they have could worry the Suns. The way we match up.
Yeah, without Boyd on here, I'm just looking at the comments here. Darth, John's going off the radar here. He should just be guest appearance here so we can drop the C-bomb in absence of
He's learning a new word.
He's got to go on in the chat. But,
He does
get him to pop in before he goes to sleep, the grumpy old man.
He does love the Aussie Suns Fans podcast, and the comments say that he can drop the C-bomb as much as humanly possible.
You got to get it out where you can, and this is a forum to do that.
We might come back to that one later, Sonia. So just before we go into our next part, which is this week's in Suns basketball, just a disclaimer: if you've made it in this far and you are the Locked On Dubs, we are just Suns fans. We're fans of the Suns and the NBA. So if you're still here, maybe just turn off now, because apparently we don't have links to teams, so we know fuck all. Guys.
Hello, you know me, your great friend, Donald Trump. Let me tell you about this week in Phoenix Suns basketball.
All right, so our topics this week in Suns basketball. The first one, the DA debate. We had some fun with Voider on Thanksgiving over there in the US, and obviously we don't celebrate Thanksgiving over here, unless you guys do. Nate, what do they do in Singapore? Anything? No?
No, didn't even notice it was on.
Because I did say on Twitter that day, the only thing that Australians know about Thanksgiving is that families get together and punch on. So it's basically Christmas for us.
And some really good American footballs on too.
Yeah. So we had a nice debate with Voider about DA. I posted some stuff around the amount of times that he actually gets past the ball, which kind of irritated me. Because in comparison with some of the centers around the league, DeAndre Ayton just does not get the ball. Now, granted, I will acknowledge some of the arguments that he disengages from the team on offense at times. But my argument back to that is he disengages from teams, from our offense, because these guys are calling these plays and he knows he's not going to be involved in the plays. So this topic, probably when we set up the agenda, had more weight to it. The last two games have thrown that right in the toilet. But comments on what I put together around the amount of times that DA actually gets the ball. Nate, we'll start with you this time.
All I've heard from you for, 2 seasons of this shit now is that we don't feed him the ball. He doesn't play the
Feed DA!
So I'm in the absence of the two starters, he is becoming a number one feed option. We're actually seeing the ball going in. We're actually seeing him dunk on people. This is the actually using his body and his weight to own the paint, rather than taking those mid-range jumpers outside of it. And he's gone from looking like a pussy to looking like a warrior on the team. No reference to that.
We don't want him looking like a warrior either. Hammo?
Look, it's been it's complete chalk and cheese, isn't it? Like, we've had a lot, well, especially me, a lot of criticisms of DA in the past, but the last couple of games, man, like he's just turned into like fucking Elijah Wan or some shit. It's ridiculous. As long as he can be consistent with what he's doing, I'm really happy. You can't.
But does that consistency come with us, with our guards actually, and going all the way back to Monty, actually running plays that get this guy engaged from the start of the game and forward? And this is my problem: is I don't think we call enough or run enough plays that engage this guy.
Yeah, you're 100% right on that. Somehow that's, for whatever reason, that's changed in the last game or two. He seems to be, even when he's not getting the calls or the plays, he seems to be putting himself in a defensive or an offensive position to be able to get his hands on the ball. And it's just fucking awesome. It really is, because we're finally getting to see, like I was saying before, what his potential is. And I just hope it continues, man. More than anything else, I just really hope it continues, because what he's doing right now is really fucking special.
Well, I think it absolutely can continue, but the way it continues is we give that fucking big animal the ball and let him play the game.
Yeah, man. He is, to use the stupid, I hate the fucking nickname, but the dominating.
I think
Well, he's got it tattooed on his back.
He's kicking ass.
He does. If we can feed the guy the ball, particularly in the first quarter, and if we go back to 64 and whatever it was last year, what we did was, and one of my biggest complaints last year, if you guys remember on the pods, was we'd go fucking hard to DA in the first quarter, and then he wouldn't see the ball for 3 quarters.
Mm-hmm.
He never used to leave his feet either. Now he's leaving his feet. He's hustling. He's got elbows out. He's working like a dog. He's trying.
I don't necessarily agree with that either. But we need to feed this guy, particularly early, and particularly when we're struggling on offense. If you get late in the shot clock, I've said it a million times on this pod. If we get late in the shot clock, instead of fucking heaving up 3-pointers that are behind or from the logo or heavily contested turnaround jump shots, just put the fucking ball in the post. If we get to 5-6 seconds on the shot clock, put the ball in the post and let the guy go to work.
Especially when you got McHale and Booker not hitting threes. You definitely need to find the alternative. You need to pump it into DA and get him in there to just be a dog, kick some ass, and get some buckets, man. You know, I know it's all cliche sayings, but it's true. And he's shown the last couple of games that he can do it for us. And that's special, man. You know, being able to turn it on is just awesome.
And let's hope that continues, because what DA's done in the last 2 games, that's where we should be.
100.
Okay, question for you two. Is Patrick Beverley just a flat-out coward?
Yes.
Yes.
Content chasing absolute pussy.
Man, the motherfucker looks like Buckwheat from the Little Rascals grew up and started doing crack. Right? You run around, you're doing this in everyone's fucking face. Right? Every time it's going your way, the moment it doesn't, you want to be a little bitch.
Can we just get
the
flog of the week unanimously out of the way now then? Can we just incorporate it into this?
No, we'll wait for the segment. We'll wait for the segment. But I think I'm pretty sure he's going to be the unanimous fucking winner of that award. But
damn straight.
Seriously, dude, the worst thing is the move, the action of it was fucking weak as piss. After the Chris Paul thing, all that sort of shit. The worst thing was that when Book came out and went, be a man and push someone face to face, Beverly's answer was, I'm not going to get in a back and forth on that. And then jumped on Twitter the next day and went, I'll get in a back and forth on that if Book comes on my fucking podcast. Bev, nobody listens to your fucking podcast. You're a fucking weasel. You went on ESPN last year and went, Chris Paul is a fucking traffic cone. You can't defend. You can't shoot. You can't play offense. And you can't even be a fucking man on the court. You are a coward. And I'll challenge you right now. I'll come on your fucking podcast and I will fucking tell you what a fucking coward you are. And next time I go over to America, I'm more than happy to come and do it live. Fucking worm-looking weasel.
Well, is now a good time to mention Kyle Kuzma, just seeing how you're a little bit heated?
Oh,
I had in my notes to pick the right time to bring it up.
No, do it. Do it now.
I was going to do it before when you were talking about Harrison Barnes trades, and you touched on the trade possibilities last week, and you nearly lost your shit when we got to Kyle Kuzma. So I had a note just to make sure I take the time to bring it up at some point. So seeing how you're in a shitty mood talking about Pat Bev, How do you feel about a Kyle Kuzma trade, Gav?
So if you ask me
Channel
this,
the hammer.
if
Channel
you
the
ask
hammer
me
with
this, if you ask me this at the start of the season, I would have lost my fucking shit. But the dude's balling. He's actually playing quite well. So, and he fits kind of what we need. So, as much as I hate to say it, Kuzma would actually fit in Phoenix.
So you're telling me you're sucking eggs?
I'm going to suck eggs.
Okay. Just wanted to
But
get that out.
he's still a complete and utter fucking tool bag, and I want nothing to do with him. Hammo, any comments?
Man, look, I'm willing to accept anyone that's going to improve our position, our standings, our play, with the exception of signing Patrick Beverley or Ben Simmons. So if Kuz can come,
Shit, man, I'd take Ben Simmons in a fucking heartbeat right now. The way he's playing,
he's had fucking 3 good games. Fuck off.
Well, so's DeAndre Ayton, and you just sucked his cock.
Yeah, and I'm doing it again too. Swallow as well.
There it is.
But Kuz, yeah, you're right. He would fit our style quite well. And if he could stop dyeing his fucking hair, maybe, yeah, all right, we'll take him on.
Right.
I'm not going to Richie. I'm not going to bring up the LeBron thing again. We had a complete and utter meltdown last week about the LeBron thing.
That's a different story.
Unfortunately, we put this in before today. Everything was looking fine. I was ready to launch into this next topic. And then he came out in the last quarter, played the first 5 minutes, turned the game on its head, made the Suns look good again. But I was going to say, what happened to Jock?
Yeah, 4 games. Wasn't it 4 games without a single minute? Just an absolute ghost at the end of the bench. And then all of a sudden, in a big, bad, busy moment, Jock gets his opportunity, shows up, shows some fantastic aggression. There was a lot of screaming. Did anyone notice how many screams was going on during today's game? Between Campaign and Colin Sexton and then Jock and Aiden. Everyone was screaming.
That was
good Jock minutes. It was about time.
Or screams?
Screams. It was, oh!
Right. Everyone was flexing.
Yeah.
So, but
No,
were you excited? Were you excited to see, man? In saying that, really, really poor for me. But this is the guy we're talking about.
That's a knife. Crocodile Dundee.
Of course, we
lie.
cannot go without Crocodile.
I won't lie, when he came out, I did get a little bit of a stiffy. Yeah. I'll be honest. It's not just the big green strap on.
I kind of did too, because I did tweet just before the end of the third quarter going, I love Busy, great guy, love this man. He's one of the nicest guys in the NBA, but fucking Jock should be playing.
Yep.
How do you feel when Jock came out?
First of all, in that drop there, I didn't realise that Jock's face was also on.
Jock's face is on everything. Thank you, Voida.
I think her name's Linda Cartwright. She was Paul Hogan's wife for a while there.
What? Husband.
I got confused with Jock's face. Look, he came out with a vengeance. He really did. Whatever reason it was that he hadn't been playing, which, I've got no idea what the problem was. But he come out in just that little bit of time and just, really, really made his presence felt. And it's really good to see him back. You know, when he got given the opportunity, he gave it his all. And you can't ask for anything more than that. You really can't.
Yeah, well, it's and it's something we spoke about on the jam session as well. Is I think that this is a very Monty thing to do. He plays guys for a stretch of games, put someone else in for the next stretch of games. He's more than happy to mix it up, give them multiple games in a row before he changes that rotation. And to be honest, I think that's all it is between Jock and Biz. He spoke about matchups in a press conference like the first or second time that Jock didn't play, but I just think it's a very Monty thing to do.
Well, if I could quote you, I believe when you're on the pod just before with Voider and Boyd, when this topic was brought up, your exact comments were about fucking time.
Yeah, it was about fucking time.
Yeah.
In saying that, it is it's something that Monty does. So you kind of half expect it, but you're right. I was pleased that it finally happened. He needed to. And today's game was
in a row too, so.
Today's game was the perfect example of why Jock should have played.
Yep, the matchups are right.
Yeah, look, yeah, you're right.
All right, something else we've already spoken about, but Landry's back. He's off the concussion protocol. Landry Shamet versus the Dwayne Washington minutes. I want to get your thoughts. Then we'll have a look at the polls. Hammo, what's your thoughts on the Landry versus the D-Wash minutes?
I've been very vocal about my lack of love for Landry Shamet. However, what I seen today was a fella who really wants to play and wants to play hard. Dwayne Washington, I'm still up in the air with, very much. Landry's obviously had some shit going on, I reckon. I don't know what it is, like the concussion stuff, yeah, totally. That shit fucks with everyone. But maybe adjusting to a new role kind of thing, like compared to what he was at Brooklyn. But I would definitely take, at the moment, this current moment, I'd take Shamet over DWJ any day of the week. Just before we go any further, one thing I did notice today, has anyone else heard Damian Lee talk?
No.
Fuck, he sounds like a woman. No, dead set. Like they were doing that, like the questions they do with the players during halftime or whatever, and on the video. I looked up, I thought it was a chick. Like dead set. Fuck, dude sounds like a woman.
Anyway, bro.
Shamet over DWJ.
Nate?
Well, first thing, I got to think back to the Landry Shamet moment that I can actually recall from the game, and that's when Jordan Clarkson tried to give him nightmares. That little stare down after the force his way under the Peyton little dunk. It was funny to watch Landry just stand there with this shocked look on his face. It's like somebody just stared at me and I'm not going to do anything about it. I think that says a lot about his game at the moment. We talk about aggressive with nature with DA. I don't think Landry is playing or even acting on the court like he deserves to start ahead of Dwayne Washington Jr. I personally believe he does. I believe he should be given the opportunity until he's not turning up in a game and then yank him off. You got to prove it. And he's being paid enough money to prove that he's worth it. And I don't think we're seeing it yet. Concussion aside, he wasn't playing that much better before the concussion. So,
well, I kind of disagree. I actually thought Landry was playing quite well. Landry was playing quite well before he got concussed.
It was a low fucking base, though. What he put up last year into this year, it wasn't hard to improve.
Well, this year he's been far better than last year. And look, he's better on the defensive end than what Washington is. D-Wash came in, had a fucking amazing game. Well, can't remember which game it was, but had like 22 points and did quite well. Played a nice game. What are you saying, Hammo? What's one?
You had one good game.
Yeah. So Washington is, I think Washington's a flamethrower, but Landry can also do that if he builds some momentum. But your main point, Nate, was that I agree with is we're paying Landry that fucking money. Mm-hmm. We spoke about it on Jam Session as well. If we want to include Landry Shamet in the trade, people have to see what he can do. and at a $9 million contract, it's valuable. We can't trade Dwayne Washington. He's on a two-way. So, to be honest, I think Landry has to play those minutes in front of Dwayne Washington, whether people like it or not.
Are we going to, while we're talking about Landry, I know you've not got the agenda there, but how about some of the other bench players? So our bench has been getting a lot of talk in the commentators.
Well, we can roll into that next. I'll let you roll. I want to show you the poll. So
you bring up a damn good point here, though.
When Landry
really
returns,
Shamit's absence.
Yes, but I'll get to those comments. When Landry returns, do we see a drop in Dwayne Washington Jr. minutes? Most people in Sunsland, 50 votes, yes. They think we do. This one's a little bit of a flip. When Landry returns, is your preference for him to play ahead of Dwayne Washington? 60% no. So it kind of goes with what you guys say.
It's conflicting,
now,
yeah.
To be honest, same here about Shamit. Didn't really notice his absence. Of course you didn't, because we won. Simple. Dwayne Washington got caught out on a couple of back cuts today, which were almost embarrassing. But I think that for the amount of minutes both of these guys are going to play, it shouldn't impact the end result. Fair call?
Yeah, fair call.
Yeah, 100% fair call. It definitely shouldn't.
Shouldn't take up this much time on our pod either.
No, it probably shouldn't. Nate, what were you going to ask?
Well, mate, the bench players. So the bench have been getting a lot of talk from commentators saying how strong it's been playing, how the second unit's been holding us up, been playing into their own. Like Damian Lee with his, it was a 51% 3-point percentage before the Jazz game, which was number one, was top 3-point percentage in the league or something. Not bad coming off your bench, which is exactly what he was brought in to do, was exactly what he was known to do. The other thing I wanted to talk about was Okogie, and I'd be interested to get your guys' opinion on this, especially Hammo, because we haven't heard from you in a couple of weeks. But now, I know in the off-season when they mentioned Josh Okogie was coming on board, I was actually excited by the opportunity. I thought there's more upside than there is any other downside to having him on the team. And then the more I watch him play, the more I see myself yelling at the TV, sit down. And I know the last couple of pods that I've missed out on, Gav, you I think it was a rolling topic on how many more threes can he miss. Because what was he, 0.01% or something?
Well, he was 0 from something or other, and then hit a step back in the face of someone a couple of days ago.
Yeah. So, what's the take here on Okogie overall? Is he helping our bench? Is he falling further and further down the bench? I mean, we haven't mentioned Okogie at all we're talking all about Dwayne Washington Jr. and Shamit. Where does Okogie fit into that in the second unit?
He's a faceless player. He really is. Don't see, he's on the court, but you don't see him. You know what I mean? I don't think he offers anything of value to the team. Not at all.
It's a bit harsh.
Wow.
I mean, I did say every time I look at the TV, I tell him to sit down, but geez, I'm not going to write his mum a postcard and tell him that, am I? Jeez.
Defensively, he's been fantastic, which is exactly what we expected. Offensively, not so much, but the problem he has is whenever we're watching, because so much talk is around how poor his 3-point shooting is, all we watch is his 3-point shooting. Around the basket, he actually finishes okay. And in his bench minutes, solid. But defensively, he's been fantastic. Now, he was the big loser in the Landry Shamit minutes today because D-Wash still played his minutes.
Yeah, Okogie didn't get anything.
Probably not as many, but Okogie didn't see the floor.
No.
Yeah. So, from my perspective, honestly, defensively, if anyone saw his block when he met someone at the rim a couple of days ago, when he comes out, he does the business on the defensive end. Now, he's completely pointless. No, Hammo, you're fucking wrong. He's great. He's basically he is at Mikal Bridges' level of defense, but he can't play offense to save his
Get
life.
fucked. No way.
Why? What? Why not?
You can't compare bench play to Mikal Bridges. You can't.
Maybe in spurts, Gav.
I'm talking about defensive.
He's not getting 40-minute runs where he's proving.
I'm not talking about extended 40 minutes. I'm talking about specific defensive stops and the way he plays on defense.
Oh, I'm certainly glad I brought this up now.
No way. No fucking way.
No way. So you think that he's been shit on defense? Have you even watched any of their games?
It's a spot that we could fill with
what?
Anyone.
Right. Give me one name.
Alvarado.
Okay. Is Alvarado available? Is he?
You didn't say that. You said give you a name.
Oh, well, no. Let's be fucking fair dinkum here. If you're going to fill the spot, fill it. You're talking. Next, you're going to come up with fucking Carmelo Anthony or fucking Isaiah Thomas the third.
Oh, we're a Voyer and Boyd when you need to call someone a cunt.
I don't see his worth. I don't.
Well,
you don't have to use respect, Thomas. We tell him he's wrong all the time.
Yeah, that's right.
Fine, man. I'm wrong all the time. That's sweet. It's basically what I'm here for.
So this is John Doe. John Doe. No one knows who he is. He does. He should. This is the exact right comment. Okogie comes on. He locks up anything else in the secondary, but he should never, ever shoot the ball on a jump shot again. He should just drive the ball to the basket. That is all he has.
Hey, man, if he's going to drive, get fouls, do all that, whatever, sweet. But I forget he plays for us half the time.
Well, you would today because he didn't get minutes. But prior to that, without Shamet, he was on the floor and playing well. Now, I would take Shamet minutes over Okogie minutes. No problem whatsoever. Yes. But it doesn't mean that the guy can't play defense. Everyone got a pen and paper?
Yeah, well, before we move on, just with wrapping up games and players and everything, have a look. It was the Espo episode. That was the last one I was on. We were talking about the standings, where all the teams sat. And you had Portland and Utah sitting at the top of the West. Since then, our little tears put us, the best home record in the league, especially after today. Utah is now dropped down to 8th spot from 2nd in a matter of
I think that's going to be the West, yeah.
So we're sitting top of the West now. So it's been a good little run for us. We're back where we belong.
But I think that's the biggest concern with the West. If you go on a run of losses, you're going to go from 1st to 8th really quick. Because I don't think what's the current gap between 8th and 1st in the West?
2.5. 2.5 games.
2 games, fucking crazy, right?
Yeah.
That's where everyone said the West was going to be challenging this year, and it's proving that way. And
pretty much what they've said every year for the last 20.
Shit, man. Like, what are we? We're almost a quarter of the. So 19 games. We're a quarter of the way through the season already. Fucking hell. We're going to be booking tickets to Arizona shortly. Nate?
Just quickly, Thomas, your comment about being the Australian version of Espo and throwing out Crazy Train, that's one of my favourite songs ever by Ozzy Osbourne, man. So thank you.
You got a pen and paper?
Yeah. What have you got?
Guys in the chat, I know we've got a couple of newbies in there. Don't comment on who the answers are until after these two idiots try to guess. I have tried to make this really, really easy. All right, because I knew we didn't have a special guest.
Fuck, Gav, you know I drink a lot.
I've tried to make this really, really easy, so it could be very, very ugly by the time this finishes if you guys don't.
No one's ever pointed out that you've never had to guess one of these names.
No, I know. Well, you make one and I'll have a go.
All right.
Here we go.
This is going to be a very quick, boring segment. There is no point in playing that again. I can tell you that right
Really?
now. No point.
The whole thing froze up, man. I didn't see one face.
Okay, so poor old Hammo didn't see him, so I got to play it again. Fucking seriously, Nate. We'll go again. Guys in the comments, hold off. As we start to go through them, you can have a guess. But here we go. You ready, Hammo?
Yep, I'm only going 1 for 4 here.
One.
Yep.
Did not see one face, man. All I seen was the random Suns thing, so I'm out.
Well, that's all right. You would have gone 0 for 4 anyway, Hammo. We trust you.
Kiko, as I said, no comments yet. All right, Hammo, who was the first one?
I didn't see any of them, bro.
No,
sorry, mate. Just read through the first 3 because I didn't write a name down for the first 3.
Those in the chat,
the fourth one.
Anyone know who the first one was?
There's been a few names in the chat there. First one to come out was Reed in the chat there. So
they've already thrown it. They've already thrown it out. This is correct. The first one is Davon Reed. The second one is Dennis Scott.
Fuck, right.
The third one is Oliver Miller.
Yeah, it's the shoulders. You need the rest of the body, not just a headshot to guess that one.
I deliberately did it that way.
Yeah, that's where you prick.
And the last one, Nate, who was it?
TJ Warren.
It was TJ Warren.
That was the easy one. That was the easy one you threw in. Just
TJ Warren looks like. I probably would have got that one.
Save face.
So from the chat, well done, Kiko. Nailed a few of those. Sonia only got one. I don't know who you guessed there, Sonia, but I'm assuming TJ Warren. Similar to Nate. All right, lads.
I would kill everyone in this room for a drop of sweet beer.
So, Homer, please feel free to tell us anything.
Who do you want to have a beer with this week?
Well, do you remember we used to do a couple of awards, Player of the Week and all that, and we had one that we threw out there called the Encouragement Award. So I'm going to tie in my Beer of the Week as the Encouragement Award this week, and I'm going full Jock. So I want to have a beer with Jock, pat him on the shoulder and tell him it's all going to be okay. This shit happens.
Very cool.
Man, I want to have a beer with one of our super fans, Sonia. Totally. Like, she got really, really good heritage, and I'm really keen to learn about the Native American aspect of things. And we've been talking a little bit. So yeah, definitely Sonia. I'd love to have a beer with her.
Very nice. Me personally, I'd like to have a beer this week with thanks, Thomas. Personally, this week, I'd like to have a beer with Patrick Beverley. So that
He's taking out all the
afterwards-
awards this week.
So that afterwards I could just stand, have a gentlemanly conversation about why it's cowardly to hit somebody from behind. And I think I could probably improve him, make him a better person just from that discussion.
Well, you're a therapist now as well, Gav. Love it.
Yeah, that's.
And if he doesn't listen, just punch him in the back of the fucking head.
If he doesn't listen, I'd glass him. Gents,
Time for the flog of the week, and trust me, they are ugly, very unattractive. Google their face when you're done here.
who's your flog of the week?
The volume
Hammo.
on those drops.
All right. I'm going to go with Cheryl Miller's brother. I think his name's Reginald. You're a fucking tool. Shut the fuck up. You've never done anything good. You want to come in there when this whole Pat Bev thing started off and like, oh, defend Pat Bev. Oh, he's sticking up for his teammate. Eat a dick, you fucking useless cunt. Seriously. Like, fuck me, man. You were involved in the malice in the palace. And you want to fucking stand up for Patrick Beverley, who basically assaulted another person for no fucking reason. Flog.
What? That's a take
Hammo.
on the Patrick Beverley thing.
Nate, yours?
Yeah, I mean, we all going to have a unanimous appropriation to Pat Beverley this week.
I think he's standard, but we've got to mix it up. You got
So
something
easy.
else?
I do like the angle that
Too easy.
Hammo took on that one, but no, I think we need to keep his name in flog lights for a little bit longer.
Yeah, fair enough. So, Pat Bev for you?
Yes.
I'm going to go with Shannon Sharp, Skip Bayless, whoever else fucking defended that shit, similar to what Hammo said. You don't defend cowards. What he did was cowardly. It's as simple as that. Running up behind someone and shoving them in the back is fucking weak as piss.
Especially when it's over somebody.
Now,
There's already someone on the ground to take his ankles out.
In
100%.
addition to that, apparently what DA did was so bad that he had to be cheap shotted from behind. So my other flog is Anthony Davis. What the fuck didn't you stand up for your teammate?
Yeah.
Because you were standing right next to fucking DeAndre Ayton. The fuck's wrong with you? If it was that bad, you should have fucking jumped in. And then you went in a press conference and went, oh, that's just Bev sticking up for my teammates. You were standing next to him, you fucking coward. You were just as bad as fucking Beverly. Wake
He's
up to
softer
yourself.
than Boogie Cousins, man, no doubt. Like, I mean, you're talking about AD,
Fucking
he's
hell.
fucking soft.
I actually hadn't looked at it from that perspective there, Gav. That's interesting. Yeah, the big fella just stood there and let the chihuahua do the work.
So, Thomas,
And on top of that, too, he had
Thomas-
that foul
Thomas
on
from the
Booker and
US.
hurt his own fucking arm.
yeah, fucking weak as piss. Weak as piss? No, it's weak as piss.
But that's okay. Good effort.
Yeah.
Good effort.
Yeah.
At least you're watching.
We do. We're Australian. We speak way too fast. Just quietly.
I'm hearing that a lot over here.
We do have to go back. Sonia, I apologise for your boyfriend calling you the flog of the week. But does he have reasoning for calling you a flog of the week? That's what we want to see. Does he have reasoning? Otherwise, yes, you should become single. Get rid of him. Marry an Aussie and you'll be right. Hammo, last comments. Where do we find you? All that sort of fucking crap.
Man, I'm at Sir Hammo on Twitter. Starting to get more and more involved in Twitter. So yeah, hit us up. Getting a lot of new people I've never heard of fucking talking to me, which is good. But yeah, we love all you guys. We love all you guys' interaction. You know, our regular fans that come on this podcast, like your Sonia, like Kiko, like I can't remember his name right now, but we appreciate you. We really do. So yeah, just keep rolling, man, and we'll keep bringing as much Aussie flavour as we can. And yeah, talk to you soon.
Nate.
Well, I'm at Nicky's Falcon on Twitter, and if you go there, you'll see that I have absolutely zero activity on there. I pretty much have an account just so that I can get news when I really can't find it anywhere else. But do send me a message because I love sliding that little thing to the right where it says delete. It's great. Appreciate it.
Nate,
good to be back though, buddy.
Have you added Fallen Founder on PlayStation yet?
No, I have not.
Well, come on, mate. He keeps fucking messaging me. He's been on our show a couple of times. He supports us, and you won't support him.
I tried to add him on the Twitter thing, and that didn't go well. So
it's very, very disappointing from you.
All right, PlayStation invite coming.
Follow us.
We can't wait to see you next time.
Follow us, Aussie Suns fans, at Aussie Suns fans. Twitter, YouTube, all that shit. Like, follow, subscribe, comment. Guys, get our fucking subscribes up, will you? Like, I'm very disappointed in all of you. I don't even think Justin fucking subscribes to us. And the guy's been on the show 17 times. What a fucking piece of shit. Guys, get on, subscribe, like, do all that. We have had a ball again tonight. Thank you very much. We'll see you next week. I won't be here Sunday, so it might be a pod without me. Otherwise, we'll do it Monday. Yeah, we'll see you next week. Thank you very much.
As Chris Paul gets in, another wide open three.
Pierre Cardin.
Defers to Booker for the long range.
P-H-O-E-N-I-X. Phoenix Suns, and you know we up next. Yeah, we working for that championship ring. We the Valley, it ain't nothing but a thing. P-H-O-E-N-I-X. Phoenix Suns, and you know we up next. Yeah, we working for that championship ring. We the Valley, it ain't nothing but